Hey guys, right, let me just do my usual. Will you do me a favour and go and share this, please? What is wrong with my... Something seriously wrong with my computer today. Okay, I can't even share it off the computer. Really weird. I have been trying so hard. XRP Hilton, how are you doing? I have been trying so hard to get it so that I can use Zoom, and the free Zoom that I can run from Zoom is the paid one, and the paid one is on Love for Crypto's email address. And unfortunately, I can't get a hold of Scott because I think he's changed the password. So I'm like, oh, for God's sake, bloody typical. So just let me, for 1 second, just go and share in a couple of the groups. I just show on some of the community groups on Telegram. And just gonna let them know that I'm here. Not that it makes any difference, but you know, sometimes it's just the reminder that people need, because otherwise I get a phone call afterwards that goes, why didn't you tell me? It's like, I did. Right, that's that phone. Hold on. Yeah, I'm doing really good. Hi, Steve. What have you been up to? I haven't seen you for a while. Are you all okay? Family okay? Let me just... Go on. Share. Twitter. Live now. Tweet. And, oh, for God's sake, get off. She's a nightmare. She's actually chewing the cables at the moment, which is never a good thing. Huh, get off. Right, I think that's about all the people that I need to let know. If anybody else needs to know, it's a little bit late because I've been on for 3 minutes and I haven't even looked up properly yet. So, done. Get off the cables. Tarot by Margaret. Leonie, how are you doing? Thank you so much for coming in. Finally nice to talk to you. It's not face to face, I know, but at least it's a little bit live. Better than tweets. Tony Favell, happy Sunday, boo. I've got done work at last. You finished, yeah? Family's great. Been in bed when you were live last week due to work. Listen back in the next morning. Oh, bless. Thank you. I never know why anyone goes back and listens to me afterwards, because it's more about the interaction that I have with people to start with. Kung Fu Tuber, welcome. Devin Steve says, because I'm now retired, looks like I'll be able to see most live evenings now. No more shift work. I know, right? Retiring has its benefits. Hi, Justine. Yeah, it really does. I mean, I'm so loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I don't know whether it's because I'm finally free, or maybe it's because I'm don't know, more relaxed, unplugged from the sausage machine. Let me just go and close the door. Hold on a second. Get off. Oh. That's better. And if I close this door. Right. Now it's quieter. Sorry, I spent so long trying to get the Zoom stuff done that I completely forgot about the rest of the setup. So I have to close the door into the room. Otherwise, my mum can't listen to TV. I have to close the door to the outside. Otherwise, all you hear is the traffic going past. So not ideal. But when I get my house back, I can set up properly. I'm not saying that I'll be far enough to be able to do anything like a green screen, but I'll have it set up properly. So I'm at my sister's next week, so I'm going to try and do some streaming from there as well. Kung Fu Tuber says sometimes we miss the live stream. Oh, that's why we go back and watch it. Oh, I don't do it. I don't do it for anything more except for to have some interaction. I was listening to one of Charlie Ward's, and he's an absolute machine. I mean, he's doing so many a day. But there was a young English guy on there today, and he was talking about how he lost his sister earlier on this year, a couple of months ago. And it was because during the lockdown, she had more time. So she went and she'd done a lot of research on stuff. She couldn't understand why the lockdown happened, couldn't see sort of why there was this fear of this thing that was locking us in our homes and everything like that. And she went and she fell into queue and all that sort of stuff. And when she was trying to talk to people about it, she felt completely alone. And what that did was that really resounded with me to the point where I will come back on here, and if there's anybody that turns up, I will talk. If nobody turns up, you don't need me that day. You know, I'll quite happily go back to watching YouTube and catching up on some other stuff. But I think at the moment, with everything the way it is and nothing makes sense, and we've got all these changes and we're hearing all these things coming out, and I don't know how far down the rabbit hole anyone else has gone, but I've gone really, really down the rabbit hole, and I don't think I've even begun to scratch the surface. Now, I have a good idea of what's going to be coming out. Hi, Bill. But it's one of those things where we're going to have to be here to hold people's hands. And that's where I think this comes into its own. You know, it's a small selection. I let people know in Charlie Ward's chat that if they want to come in, they can. To interact with like-minded people, because until I come back on here, I thought I was the only one that was seeing everything that was going on, and nothing made sense, which is why, you know, like I say, the bullying that was happening before, because people didn't believe what I was saying, and I needed an intervention and everything like that. And that made me, you know, just put me off coming on, because speaking my mind and sounding like an absolute idiot was distancing myself from my friends. And then I had to get over myself and just realize that they're not actually my friends, and that there is a reason that this is all going on. And people like me, I mean, small, very, very small wheel in a massive, massive cog, need to be here in order to be able for people to come in. And that's why I wanted to do today, just to do some, I wanted to do interactive stuff, and I really can't get the Zoom to work. So hey Mari, how you doing? Mari's in Norway. Yeah, I really wanted to have like a two-way conversation, maybe with a couple of people, get it on Zoom, put it up on here. But the only way I can do that through Zoom is if I'm on the paid one, and basically I can't get in. So somebody's changed the password, I think. Angie, you're in bed listening, really bad migraine. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. I'll send you some healing when we're finished. I can do some remote Reiki, and I'll send it your way. But yeah, so Kung Fu Tuber says, yeah, I think you're just noticing it as more free. It definitely is. And yes, we are going to be retired soon, Crypto Justin. But it's more about, I think for me, it's more about having the time. And I don't actually I don't actually feel like I'm torn with what I want to do and what I need to do. So I can get everything done that I need to, and at the same time I can do an awful lot of sort of listening to the YouTubes, doing research and bits and pieces like that. And ice pack on the forehead, maybe. Yeah, Steve, that might help. Tisme Denny, how are you? Darcy B's in the house. Right, so basically today, I don't know if any of you have got me on Twitter and you want to type up something a little bit longer and send it to me on Twitter, I will leave my XRP Boo Boo Twitter up. And then basically, if you want to send me anything to read out, which is, you get more, you can type up more. If you send it on a Twitter message, then you can with the limited 200 digits that you get to put on the live chat. But yeah, it was to look for something positive in everything that's been going on, because I think that we've just had the most amazing time to take a breath, right? To physically, in lockdown, it's something where we were enforced to sit tight, to think critically about, if we needed to go out, if we need to interact with others. And a lot of us that are crypto based, we didn't take to our televisions, we took to our YouTubes and our and the crypto side of things. And I saw a lot more people around in Twitter and Telegram, especially Telegram, than I've ever seen before. Yes, it's a choice lifestyle. But the whole point of this is to discuss how it has affected, because for me it gave me time. It gave me I didn't have to do the commute to work. I didn't have to go out to the shops, and it wasn't a case if I had to, I just naturally did on a more regular basis. So what it did was it made me think carefully before I did go out to buy food. It got us out and about with the neighbours. I was buying food for 4 families at one point. And the closeness that came from the family, because everybody was, 1, had the time to, but 2, had the inclination to keep in touch, just to make sure that people were okay. And that was something that really resounded with me. And then we had the whole point of, we had bright blue skies. There was no chemtrails. We didn't have, I don't think, the manipulation on the weather that we suffer from on a quite regular basis. The amount of cars on the road was less, so the pollution levels were lower. The animals came back, the wild animals came back. I said at the beginning, it was amazing because we don't usually get a lot of birds in the gardens this close to the coast, because the coast is literally half a mile that way. What we do is we have an awful lot of seagulls. So, and we found that the birds came back, and the seagulls, because they're not incentivized to come inland, because there's not the people around that would drop their food and they can pick it up and scavenge and everything like that. So they were going back out to sea and doing what they should be doing. And then he saw pictures on Facebook and Twitter that, the animals were coming down into the towns in all these various different places, deer, moose, and all of that side of it. And I just found that for me, it was a breath of fresh air. And then I spent the first couple of weeks feeling like I wasn't in control. That it was completely out of control. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know why we had to do this. Nothing made sense to me, and it felt like I was living in a movie of my own making. yeah, Angie, lift each other up. But the whole point is that there has to be something positive that came out of this, because we're going to be possibly locked down again, for whatever reason, and it's not going to be about the beer flu. But we're also going to, you know, if we know we're going into, and this is what I'm trying to get people ready, we know we're going into another lockdown situation, you know, everything that we learned last time, we can be loads more positive about it this time, and just be able to manage ourselves better. Does that make sense? Bill says, not for a while. We are so new that the race hasn't started yet. We have years, in my honest, but it's going to be awesome. Do you know what? This journey is absolutely fantastic. It really, I've been on the crypto journey for 2 years, but this journey, 2020, people are going to be talking about this year for a generation or two, because I think this is where, this is the change. This is the time that the world stood still. Literally, the world stood still. And I think a lot more people are aware of the impact now, because they can see how shutting down has actually allowed the world to breathe. And I'm all for not going back to the old normal, because there's lessons to be learned. And if we can get our voices out there to be heard, to say that, you know, that we don't want to go back to the way it was, you know, the commute, we don't need, most of the companies, you know, you had people working from home. Why do we need to have a commute to work? Why does every person have to sit in an office tower block somewhere in the middle of cities, you know, Manchester, London, Birmingham? Why would we need to? We've shown that we can actually work from home quite simply. It's going to mean that the companies are going to be able to see some cost savings by doing that, but also the carbon footprint is going to get less. Tarot by Margaret, boo, I can't make my mind up about Trump, if he's a good guy or not. He is absolutely a good guy. The guy, depends on what you believe and how religious you are. I believe that he's been sent by God to bring in a change and to turn the tide against the cabal and how we've been run for the past few hundred years. I honestly believe that if he hadn't have got in, that we would be looking at a far more different world than we're looking at right now. And I think as it comes out, as the information starts to come out, it's being leaked to us little bit by little bit. You've got the Pizzagate stuff that came out, well, followed up by the QAnons actually finding Wayfair. They found how they're selling children. And that was the Anons that did that and broke the story. And it's not been debunked, because Snopes came out within 15 minutes and they got the company to say, no, we don't traffic children. Of course, you're being caught with your hand in the cookie jar, but you're still going to deny everything, aren't you? So yes, he is a good guy. He really is. XRP Caroline is in the house. How you doing, honey? Devon Steve hasn't been out of the house for 4 days. Good for you. Clap of the NHS brought everybody closer, XRP chance, honestly. And this is what I want to try and do. What if we can get together a movement? Everybody's disgusted with how the media is treating things. Well, most people, not everyone, obviously, can't speak for everyone. A lot of people are talking about how they're disgusted with the media. Look how much that clapping 8 o'clock on a Thursday night for the NHS took over. What if we did an evening, a 4-hour stint, maybe, where everybody refused to switch their televisions from 6 till 10 on a Thursday night or a Monday night, is what I'd suggest, because it's crap on television anyway. But yeah, so we did like a boycott, but for the whole world just stop, turn their televisions off at a key time. So evenings are key times, and just literally switch it off. Don't watch news, don't watch programs, have a DVD night, you know, just watch a film. You know, it's just do something other than clock into your TV and be programmed, because that's what they're doing at the moment. I'll catch up. Let me know what you think. Margaret says, I think anyone who is awake has taken it a lot easier than others, all over stressed with anxiety over it all. I love the time. Absolutely. The amount of people that went in their garden and started growing stuff because they can see what's coming. The time that they had, they improved the, they decorated, they did their gardening, they sorted out the shed and got in the garage, and, you know, and quality time spent either on your own or with your family, just sorting out. And that sort out, one, it keeps your brain working, keeps you going at a time when you don't actually have any real routine, but also at the same time, that decluttering, that sorting out, it's good for the brain, really good for the brain, leaves room for other stuff. Devon Steve said, this may sound daft, but as I was going to work, the clouds looked like as if they were in 3D. Yeah, I know they are already, but they just did. Steve, I would not. I've seen pictures that people have put, videos that people have put up, and there literally is a line in the sky, and it's lighter blue one side and darker blue the other, and it's literally the whole sky, almost like there's it's where a dome's been put together, and there's a line, literally a line. I'm sure there's reasons for it, but it piques my interest when I see stuff like that. Justin says, this is a year that I have never known in my lifetime before, ever. This shutdown was a good thing, wasn't it? And the more that we can get 17 people in the chat, see what I mean? 17 comes up all the time. All the times that we had and people felt fear, now looking back on it, a lot of people are going to be kicking themselves that they were feeling the way that they did now that it's over. So when we go into the new shutdown, if we do, then basically I'm hoping that it will be a more positive experience for everybody. Because more people now are looking back and going, actually, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But at the time, it was like for me, it was like a sensation overload. Dodge Toshi Bakamoto. Woof. Devon Steve, in my honest, we could do with a 3-month cease of all air traffic every year. Do you know what, Steve? I think with the new patents that are going to be coming out, planes are going to be a thing of the past. Boats are going to be a thing of the past. They will add the anti-gravity stuff. You can take a plane, put the stuff on the bottom of it, and you can still utilise, but you won't need the gasoline. Without the gasoline, the air quality gets better. Darcy B says, I'm losing time for Charlie Ward to change my mind. Listen, Charlie's got one message out there, right? One message only, and that is save the children. That is what he's there for. He's a conduit between people who in the know and people who don't. And he's pulling people into his chat that basically give people a lot of different perspectives on everything. There was 3 people in with him today, so there's 4 of them all together. One of them, I think, was a minister from America, and then there was 2 ladies there. One was some form of psychic, and I didn't catch what the other lady did because I didn't catch the first bit of it, but it was awesome because the lady who was the psychic basically had a story to tell about the Clintons, right? So she'd been talking to one of the Clintons' security guard. No, not Clinton's security guard. She'd been talking to one of the security guards that was covering for one of the pop idols, who was doing a fundraiser for the Clintons. And the Clintons had children brought in to service certain people that were at that fundraiser in the back rooms. Now you know what goes on there, right? So this is all stuff that needs to be given out. He also had a lady in his chat the other day, who is, I think she's somebody that a truth sayer. She does really deep dives, and she's well in the know about the stuff that's going on. She has people who insiders that report to her as well, and her and Charlie, when they get together, they're comparing, because they're getting it from different people and they're getting the same conversations. And basically she was talking about the deep underground bunkers, and then I went on to her YouTube channel, amazing, and there was a lady that had done a deep dive. Oh my god, it's about the water. Don't buy the new bottled water from any Hollywood people that have bought out a brand, because some of these waters might have something that's not quite supposed to be in them, because they're bringing out these protein waters. And how do you get protein water into water? Water is water. Water isn't protein. So yeah, she raised a massive issue on that. But at the same time, she's actually been investigating on the water side of things, who's been moving what, where, and there's actually a sex trafficking route around the Bahama Islands, and unfortunately to say it, Richard Branson's is neck deep into this. Really, so you take what you can from Charlie, right? Because he's just a facilitator. He's going to put lots of people in front of us, right? So that we get different perspectives and different stories from different people. So he's almost like a chat show host, bringing people in, but it's normals like you and me that he's bringing into these shows to tell their story, and then it will resound with some and it won't resound with others, and you take from it what you can. Thanks, man. You take from it what you can, and that is the whole point. So some bits you're not going to feel so comfortable with, but take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this something that I can believe, or does this not work with me? Because there's going to be some that he has on there that aren't going to sit right, and that's perfectly fine. But don't give up on him. He's actually going to be he's going to be a huge part of this dissemination, trying to wake people up, and I see that now. And where the quantum financial planning is talking about, bear in mind, this is all about the children, all about the children. And if that means that some false information is going to come out that's going to get back, and these child traffickers have got money sitting in accounts that they're going to want to move around because of the quantum financial reset that's coming in. So they're going to have to do it now rather than later, because it's being done by the 1st of September. What if, and I'm only saying what if, and I said this yesterday, that the system isn't quite right for that yet. We've got to wait for SWIFT to actually finish its death throes before it does it. What if this information is there just to make them quickly move, and then checkmate, he's got them, follow the money? Just saying. Whatever you think about him, however Twitter is going to treat him after all of this, it's all about the children. And if that means that we have a bit of false hope for a couple of weeks, and then we feel cheated by the end of it because it didn't happen, then so be it, because I'm just thinking about the kids. That's all. We know what's coming with XRP, right? It just might not be in the timescale that he's giving. Tarot by Margaret. XRP Chance says, check out Charlie Ward's YouTube channel. He has a brilliant video which sums up how good Trump actually is. Yes, he does. And I haven't seen that yet, but the 7 points, he went into them a little bit with one of his ladies that came on. XRP magazine is in the house. Blah, 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 blah. Right, let me catch up. Yeah, chat. No, that's the whole point of being here. Devon Steve says, I only seem to watch TV for news in the morning, and I'm believing that less and less. Don't even bother. The dissemination of fake news that's coming out from everywhere at the moment, everywhere, is ridiculous. The only thing that you need to remember is that this flu was downgraded on the 19th of March from a highly contagious disease to nothing. And that was done, and that's all over the UK website for the government, right? So that's a fact. That's a fact. So basically, yeah, if I read like that, I could talk like that. That way you don't get the glare off. So basically, yeah, they knew before they put us in lockdown, and definitely knew before they put masks on us, because we didn't put masks on us till 24th of June. They didn't put us in lockdown until that was 22nd or something of March. Anyway, so they knew that it was a moot point when they done it, but they done it anyway, right? So part of me hopes that it was done for our safety, that there was a different threat that they had to worry about our safety for, or it is exactly how Charlie says, and the successive governments, what they're going to do is keep pushing us until we rebel, because the more out there that they treat us, the more questioning that's going to happen. People like me, I've done it from the start. Other people now are waking up to the masks. Other people are suddenly realizing that Dr. Fauci is under a shitstorm at the moment by Robert Kennedy, who's Robert Kennedy Jr., who is a virus and civil rights person for medical side of things, and he's gunning for him. So you watch what comes out very, very soon, and he's going to gun for Gates as well. And they're being very, very harsh about these people now. Gloves are off. But Devon Steve, don't watch the news. It's just not worth it. It used to be, does anyone remember the way it used to be? You used to have your 10 o'clock news or your 9 o'clock news, depending on which channel you were watching, because there was only 3. And basically at the end of every news session, there was a positive. They used to leave it on a positive note. There was always a good story, a heartwarming story, good news, whatever it was, but they always finished on the good news. Now they turn everything into an absolute drama, and it's all done to pop your bubble. You watch the news, you get down, you feel down, and then you've got the subconscious programming that goes on in between programs, which are the adverts. When I switched off my television, my buying habits changed drastically, right? Honest to God, it was like day and night. When I switched off the adverts, I physically did not feel the need to buy the shit that I was buying, right? And it was illuminating. I mean, I went 6 months and suddenly went, bloody hell, I've saved some money. That never happens. I've actually got money left in my bank at the end of the month. I haven't got any month left at the end of my money, which is the way it used to be. So yeah, it is something that can make a huge difference, especially with kids. Unplug them. XRP Chance says, I find Twitter, YouTube, etc. way better than the news, as it's like we're our own reporters now. Miss the middleman, get direct from the source. Absolutely. I go on, I watch things like X22 Report, and we know, SG Report, and what they do. I mean, it's a bit elongated, so it's not as succinct as you get from a news reporter. But there's other channels out there that do like a 10-minute news, where they pick a subject and they don't do any more than 10 minutes on that, and it's just constant. And you can just choose the subjects that you want. I find it really funny when you're taking the piss out of the either the MPs or the Senate when they're doing. I watch a lot of the White House stuff and the Senate investigations, because it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. And the stupidness of some of these Democrats is just, I thought you needed to be intelligent to do that sort of job. But yeah, same as our MPs. Our MPs are just hype. They're just hype. They're in it for what they can get. They're not there to do good for people. Not anymore. That went a long time ago. They're not believable. They're there to better their own and further their own nest and further their own careers. Do just about enough to actually get them re-elected next time. But have they got our best interests at heart? No. They put us in things like the EU, signed over. You've got the Queen who's basically signed over all of her rights. She's abdicated and signed over all of her power to government. So she knows she's done. She's absolutely done. But why would she do that? She's supposed to be our monarch. No. She plays with kids anyway, so she's disgusting. She can't show her face in public ever. XRP Carolina, Devon Steve says, doing good, just retired from my job. Another retiree. Sussing it out now. Trouble is, Mrs. Devon has a secret list of jobs to do, just waiting. Oh, you know it. You love it. Just think, when you actually get through that list, and she gives you another list, and then you get through the next list, by the time you've got to the end of the third list, you're going to have time for yourself. Just do it. Just go through the list and get everything done. Honestly. And then turn around and say to her, right, I'll do a list and then I want a month off. And then I'll do a list and then I want a month off. Just saying. You can negotiate that one, Devon and Steve. Congratulations on retirement. Hopefully I will not be far behind you. Oh, you're far too young. Far, far too young. Carolina. Bill Gord says, psychics, laugh my fucking ass off. Why? What's wrong with psychics? Nothing wrong with psychics. I do Reiki. All that mumbo jumbo. Don't knock it till you've tried it. Trust me. XRP Chance says, buy a water filter. I don't need a water filter. I magnetize all of mine. Darcy B says, Billy, did you see Crypto Teacher video on Charlie today? Oh, Scott's just said that he didn't change the password, so obviously I did something wrong. Crypto Teacher video on Charlie today? No, but I will go and have a look at that when we're finished. What basically did he say? Did you cover that later on? Naive is Evian spelt backwards. Yes, it is, Steve. Yes, it is. He mentioned something today about birth certificates being traded, but can't find anything on this. Do you know anything more on this? Right, I know the website because I've got the girl that was talking about it on my Facebook. I'm following her. But she said you had to put your national insurance number in. So I think that there's a format that you need to do, or they've switched it off because it's getting well known. But basically what they say is every single person ever that is born, on your birth certificate, there's two. The first birth certificate is actually kept at the Vatican, would you believe? And basically what that means is that you become a chattel for the country that you live. And basically what that means is that the government can borrow against you and then invest on your behalf. And apparently the website that they were talking about, you can actually go in on your national insurance number and see how much they've actually managed to gain on your behalf for themselves based on your birth certificate. So that would be really interesting. I've got a Facebook message into her. Let me turn the light on. I've got a Facebook message into her to ask her if she can. It's a bit better. If she can let me know how to do that, because the format that she gave me doesn't work. Or it could be that I just don't have an account for some strange reason, because I don't have an account, maybe. CJ UK, about 18 months ago, I watched an ex-forces guy, US, go on about that the Yanks are basically traded. It's something to do with their birth certificate. There is a value that each person is worth. Devon Steve, it's everybody in the world. Everybody in the world. Honestly, you couldn't make it up. For the life of me, I can't remember what it was. Yeah, there is the website. The website is gmeiutility.org. So Golf, Mike, Echo, Indigo, utility.org. But I can't work out how to make it work. So that's the website. It's actually based in the Netherlands, this company, but it's a .org. So that's some form of charity type thing. Yeah, it's Amsterdam in the Netherlands. So not sure, but I will get to the bottom of that because I'm really interested in knowing about it. I've heard something about that. In fact, my brother looked into it a while ago and he said that it is actually a thing. It's just that maybe she's been given the wrong website, maybe. Don't know. I'll find out. Crypto Justin says, I want to know who's trading me. That just makes me wonder what is going on and why. Imagine that. Hey, boo. SPO. Hello, honey. Watch XRP Ventures video on how he shows how American birth certificates are a currency. Darcy, send me the link on Twitter. Are you on Twitter? Yeah, you're on Twitter. And I'll share it on one of my streams. Devon Steve says, boo boo. I take it Ideal World and QVC got kicked to the curb then. Oh, was that to do with the yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I don't order through Ideal World. My mum does, but then she still watches TV. Just saying. Nigel Farage and Neil are being set up next year with Robert Murdoch news channel called GB News. I don't think I would trust Nigel Farage as far as I could throw him. He pissed me right off when he left UKIP. And then he came back and then he left again. And I understand he walked away for a reason. I mean, he was getting death threats. I mean, they were threatening his family and I get that. I do understand. But he could have done it differently. Actually, Justine, the Queen has veto power on everything. She just never uses it. So XRP Bags is in the house, our resident music maker, crypto music maker, I might say. Justin says she does what the government tell her to, up to a point. Yes, she does, but she actually has veto power. If somebody gets in that she doesn't want, and she decides that she's going to, see you later, Carolina. Great seeing you as well. Welcome, and hope your bracelets are all working out for you. Yeah. So basically, yeah. Whenever we have a new election, the person has to go to her, and she has to give her consent for them to be the Prime Minister. So if she decided that she wanted to throw a spanner in the works, she actually could do that, and she has full power to do that. What would happen if she did is another matter, but she actually has veto power to be able to do that. So SPO says they're egoholics. Nigel Farage, yeah. I think he just got jaded. He got jaded, and he lost his way, and he lost his mojo. Just DM the video to you, boo boo. Let's have a look. Oh, fantastic. I'll put that there so that everyone, if they wanted to, can have a look as well. But I'll do that. Thank you. I will do that. So yes, so Lessons learned. How about anybody else? How did you find it? A couple of you have come back and said that you actually quite enjoyed it. I know Justin was working from home, so he wants to carry on doing that. We've had that conversation. So how about everybody else? You know, how did you find it? Did you enjoy it? Is it something that if it was going to come in say a few weeks' time, that would fill you with dread, or would you actually enjoy it? Answers on a postcard, please. Steve Willett says, it's all about the taxes. If you're a consumer, you're worth trading. One for mum, one for dad, and one for the government. It's even more nefarious than that. They borrow against your future earnings at the time when you're born. Work that one out. They don't know how long you're going to live, but they actually borrow money from the Fed against your worth as a baby. Let that sink in. What does that make us? Think about the implications of what that makes us. Slaves. We're owned. And the thing is, if you look into it even more, it's all to do with the fact that the birth certificate that you get to start with is signed as a signature from your parent, but your name is written in capitals. Now, basically what that means is that the only time that you actually have your name in capitals is on your headstone. Sorry, Tony. But you had lighter, there was nobody on the road, so actually you had it a little bit easier. So basically the only time that you actually have your name in capitals when in the stone is because you are classed as chattel, and everything is treated like it's maritime law. It's not done under like constitutional law or anything like that. So you are classed as lost at sea, missing, presumed dead as a baby. And then there's an insurance policy, which is your payout against future earnings, and then they take that money and invest it. So, and that's all done via the Vatican. I'm really looking forward to seeing some of the the books and the stuff that they kept away from us coming, because the Vatican's been emptied. So, you know, I really hope that they don't hide it all again, and they release stuff for us to physically see. I just, you know, even if it's I don't know, a catalogue where we can go in and have a look and see what sort of stuff that they had, because they're going to have the missing, because there's 711 books missing from the Bible. Did you know that? There's an extra 711 books, and apparently that's where 7-Eleven came from, because they are literally rubbing our faces in it. SPO says, this being the case, we should all do our due diligence to ensure they lose money on the deal. Actually, I think we should all do our due diligence, find out how much they've got in our account, and that should be paid over to us as part of the Nasara Jasara. Just saying. Justin says, so what happens if you don't earn enough to pay the amount of tax that they've borrowed against you? This is crazy, but can see this happening as is a bit of a futures thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's the same way as councils are given money from the government based on the constituents that they have in their areas. Check out the oracles of Celestine Light, says XRP Bags. Send me a link, XRP Bags, on Twitter. I'll check that out. Devon Steve says, that's it. I remember that bit about maritime law. He mentioned something that it was the UK that may have started it. Birth certificates. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, basically, yeah. It's these, depends how much you believe. I mean, I do believe that there is the satanic element that's actually been running the world for probably, well, my brother reckons it's for a couple of thousand years, that the families can be traced back to sort of Egyptian times and pre-Jesus. And that's the families that have come through the ages. And those are the ones that live in their little bubbles or castles in the sky, whichever way you want to think about it, that pass on. So the true history is passed on from father to son and so on and so forth. So they're the only ones that know it. Whereas the rest of us, they've rewritten our whole history. The Catholic Church isn't worshipping God. And that's going to hit a few different people very, very badly. And then the Church of England is actually an offshoot of the Catholic Church, set up by King Henry VIII so he could get divorced. So it's not a real religion at all. A lot of people seem to overlook that. So yeah, so there's lots of things. Hey, Lady Enigma, there's lots of things that are going on. How much of that we're actually going to know, I don't know. Lady Enigma, you're a Reiki master too. Yes, me too. I love my Reiki. I do love my Reiki. My hands itch when I need to do something, and it's generally somebody I'm either near to or know that I need to do some healing on. But sometimes I get filled up with so much energy. It's going to sound daft to the rest of you, so just completely ignore it. I'm talking to Lady Enigma. I sometimes get filled with so much energy that I physically have to go down to the beachfront and throw it all out to the world. I just literally it's almost like a gush of energy that just passes through, and I have to send it out to the world because I can't. It makes me too hot. I mean, I'm going through the menopause already. I mean, just add that to that, and I don't get really, really stupidly hot. But yeah, it's one of those silly things that since I did my Reiki Master, it happens. Not often, but it happens, and that was an unforeseen side effect of doing the Reiki Mastership with my best friend, who's my Reiki Master, Linda. So yeah, but I'd be really, really interested in seeing what comes out. I mean, I think there should be full disclosure. I think that there is actually a letter that was given to the Pope that should have been passed out for humanity after 60 years ago, or yeah, I think it was. I'd need to look it up. It was a nun. Take your shoes off when you have too much energy. I don't wear shoes anyway. I might wear shoes for maybe 2 months of the year. I live and die in flip-flops. I just kick them off. I can't. I get too hot if my feet are enclosed. Lady Enigma says, yes, I can connect to that. Good. Tony G, evening hot stuff. How you doing, Tony? Yeah. So go back to that. So basically, earthing. I do earth. I'm smothered in magnets. I mean, I've taken off my earrings and my necklace because a certain young lady likes to try and pull my earrings out of my ear because they shine. She's a bit of a nightmare that way. So, but then she just tries to take my glasses off my face. But Margaret says, my mum, Margaret, is a Reiki master and spiritual medium. When lockdown first happened, she struggled with the energy in the world coming from COVID. She had to keep her vibration high. When I unplugged, my energy came back. I found it very tough when we first went into lockdown. But what I did do is I joined some of the meditation groups. There was one that was a world meditation. It was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I had to set my alarm. But that was amazing, connecting on such a massive level, and we've made a difference to the Earth's energy. Darcy B, Lady Enigma, hey, I've got a mate here beside me. I'm trying to wake him up, but keeps telling me I don't give a fuck. What do I do with him? Well, unfortunately, people are going to be asleep until they're not asleep. And they're the people that are going to need you to hold their hand and see them through, because when they realise just how shockingly different the world actually is to the way that it should be, it's gonna make a few people lose their minds, because that crisis of faith that you go through when you realise that nothing is real. Nothing is real. Governments, working, taxes, medicals, illnesses, even down to Christ, mortality. Not saying that we would be immortal. I'm saying that we would live longer if we didn't live in the sausage machine that we did live in. If we were able to vibrate on the level that we need to and use our left brain the way that we should, then there would be more harmony. We're not actually built to go to war. It's something, you know, hate is something, we're not born with hate, we learn it. And it's really, when you realise that everything that you think and everything that you've ever done has been manipulated, literally manipulated so badly that up is down and down is up. And when you realise that everything that you're watching on television is programming you, really programming you to act the way that they want you to. The fluoride in the water dumbs you down. You actually have a lower IQ by having fluoride in your water, and it's a poison, but they still do it. They keep the water pH rate lower than it needs to be. Water should be, I think, 7.2, 7 naturally should be, but they falsely keep it down to 6.8, 6.4, which is acidic. What does that do to your body? It changes your pH level down, right? So your body's constantly fighting a pH level that it's not meant to be in. So, and that's the core part of you that needs to be even in order for it to function properly. So what is it constantly doing? It's fighting against everything you're eating and everything that you're drinking in order to bring itself back to the level it wants. So if you're ill, it makes you ill for longer. You don't heal as quickly as you should. It's everything. Just, you can literally, medicines, we don't need medicines. We're not built to actually take medicine. Medicine is poison. Supplements, poison, unless they're natural, right? I found out so much when I was working for, I do MLM, and I was doing Forever Living. And basically, anything that's man-made, anything at all, is a poison to your body. The maximum vitamin C, for example, the maximum vitamin C your body can take is about, I think it's 72 milligrams. Why do they give us 1,500 milligram tablets? Because the moment you take it, your body's trying to get it out the system, literally, because it's a poison. It's not natural food. It's not a natural product. It is synthetic. So your body's trying to get it out. So in the meantime, while it's trying to get it out, some of it will go in. Whereas if you take a totally natural supplement, then your body absorbs it as it should do, 100%. You should never ever buy anything that's like 1,500 or 1,000 milligrams on something that our body can only get 72 grams from. And it makes you question, right? And I started questioning a long time ago. So, and I'm still thrown by the extent of manipulation and evil, literally evil, that goes through right now. I mean, all you have to do is look at Madonna when she did that song where she was basically putting masks on, saying you're going to all die, right? That was the elite turning around and saying to us that this is what we're going to do to you. You know, when Trump turns around and says they, you know, will get them through symbolism. He means it. They've been rubbing our faces in it for years. And the thing is, we think it's entertainment, and it's not. It's their way of controlling. I mean, look what they've done with rap. What happened with rap? Rappers came out, and what happened with kids? They started swearing an awful lot. It becomes part of the culture. So they're turning our kids into little mini, I don't know. It's like they want to be gangsters, right? So you've got all this, and then what happens? The knife culture goes up because they're following. They're looking at these people and thinking that that's the way that it should be. And they're teaching the kids to be that way through music. Then come back to the schooling and what they're trying to do with the kids in schooling. I mean, I found out today that Black Lives Matter has actually got access to schools over in America. And if they're doing it over there and helping with the curriculum, then I'll be damn straight that they're going to try and do something like that over here in the UK. People need to wake up. People need to keep their kids away from school and find a way of doing it. Because homeschooling, you're going to end up with some pretty even kids. You send your kids to school, they're talking about teaching them about gay sex as an infant, right? No children is actually called male or female anymore. They can choose which one they want to be. Kids have got it hard enough finding their own identity without taking any identity at all away from them. Nothing to put their feet on as they're going through all these changes. It's naughty, really naughty what they're doing at the moment. She says, ranting, sorry. Christ. Question. If they say that the old pagan religions didn't write anything down, then why were the church instructed to confiscate all writings and send it back to Rome? Yeah, absolutely. So then makes for an interesting reveal, because they had, and they've been trying to do it. Have you not noticed that they're trying to turn witches into something that's quite cool with all of these different programs that are coming out, programming you to look at the witches in a better light? Charmed, right? They didn't just bring out Charmed once, they actually went back and redone it. So it's 3 white girls the first time, 3 black girls the second time. No, two white girls, 1 black girl. Second time. I can't remember. No, 3 black girls the second time. Anyway, I didn't watch it. I was just like, really? You know, enough with the witchcraft stuff. Lady Enigma says, "You're fire." I'm sure your bird is just helping you remove them. Yes, she was. Yes, absolutely. Except for I never take them out because they're magnets. Everything I wear is magnetic. Helps me with the pH level of my body. Means I can eat and drink whatever I want. Bit naughty, I know. Devon Steve says, Lady Enigma, an easy way to earth is to put your hands on a tree, pull in energy, push out energy through your feet to the roots and get cleansed by the roots. Oh, now there's an idea. Darcy B says, just let him sleep because your mate will automatically wake up when he or she is ready. Yep, get fluoride-free toothpaste. Yeah, that's easy enough done, but try and get water without fluoride. Just saying. Humans vibrating bags of water full of light. Yes, we are. Have you seen the different way that water actually groups itself, the molecules, with the iced molecules that man in, is it Japan? So you get really nasty with water and it goes one way, and then you talk lovingly to water and it goes another. Think of it. Think of our bodies. Think of how we actually vibrate. And when we've got fear, which is what we're constantly bombarded with at the moment, negative energy, fear, constantly. Doesn't matter whether you want to watch a program or whether you want to read the news or read a newspaper or even, you know, go out. Now You know, they put a mask on you. They've got people, after a time of us actually turning around saying that the burqa should be banned, all of a sudden we're covering our face like a burqa. It's ridiculous, because how do you interact with people? We're Western society. Western society requires those micro expressions in order to be able to know friend or foe, good or bad, happy or sad, angry or calm. How can we tell that if we can just see the eyes? You can't. It doesn't work. And also, on another note, if you're putting them on your kids, just saying how easy it is for somebody to walk off with your child if they're wearing a mask. Doesn't matter what picture you put out, they're wearing a mask. No one's going to know them. All they've got to do is literally whip their coat off and turn it inside out or something. And you're looking for a girl in a red coat. Well, actually, it's not a red coat anymore. Just saying. These things that they're doing at the moment is literally stopping people from being able to recognise other people on the basis that we need to recognise them. Lady Enigma says, I hate taking medications. I gag taking any pills, even the small ones. I'm all right with them. I chew my paracetamol though. Guys, can't listen to the stream with this guy. Sorry, talk later. Thanks, love you all. Ah, oh, don't worry, honey. Well, I'm on 7:30 every single night. So I will see you another time. XRP bags, they changed the frequency of music to an unnatural vibration. Yes, they did. And that's why when I go to sleep, what I try and do is I play the 428 megahertz so that I can I can sort of ease myself into sleep in a better way. We sure we're not living in the Matrix? We actually are in the Matrix, Steve. It's horrific, but we are totally in the Matrix. And basically, the Matrix was just their way of rubbing our noses into it yet again, because we don't know. We think we're living in one reality, and we're not. We're living in, that's what the Truman Show was. We're living in an engineered reality done to suppress us and keep us at a low frequency, because we're supposed to be on a higher frequency by now. You know, we're civilized people. You know, we should have got it right by now, but we're not, and it's really weird. It's really weird what way it's actually turning out. Luckily, they're actually red pilling people themselves by doing what they're doing, because more people now are awake, so they're able to point these things out. So I see someone talking about, I don't know, Trump, you know, how bad he is, how it's disgusting, how the 170,000 people have died, and I'm like, you think you're going to get anything like what he's done for you under Clinton? Do you honestly think that she would have given a shit about anyone? She'd have left you all to die, right? In fact, they were hoping that you would all die. That is their depopulation is the aim, and then the rest of them, or the rest of us, come in as slaves. Why do you think that the cold was engineered to hit the elderly? Think about it. Take away the people that are left that would actually stand up to them. Masaru Emoto's experiment, Dr. Masaru Emoto, amazing, absolutely amazing. I really love that. I'm going to buy them. What I'd like to do is buy some of the pictures from it. Mafia ZZ, how much XRP do you own? Aha, I want to know whether to buy more. Well, I mean, if you look at it, it's who's Shane Ellis theory is that 20,000 XRP will be life-changing. I don't know. It's down to you, your timescales, what you want to do with it, what you want to achieve, how much money you've got, how long you can lock it up for, you know. I know people that have got 1,000 XRP, and if they sit on it for 5 years, 10 years, it's going to be more than enough to see them through. So, you know, it's one of those questions that, you know, how long is a piece of string? 432 hertz is meant to be good. Yes, it is. There's a few different megahertz that are good, and it's the third dimensional matrix. And at the moment, this fight, this third world war that we're playing at the moment, is done on a spiritual plane, and it's on fifth dimensional, and that's what Trump is doing. He's playing fifth dimensional chess right now. XRP bags, yeah, simulation. It's yeah, we do need to rise above all the shit that's trying to bring you down, but the only way you can do that is if you unplug. I'm not saying unplug from people or from doing this sort of thing. I'm talking about unplug from televisions. You know, I would rather sit and talk to you lot than sit in front of the box and watch EastEnders. I mean, or any of it. You know, you look at CSI, all of the different like FBIs and CSIs and all the different crime channels and everything like that. It's all about bad people, you know, and it's and people get caught up in it. And I'm not saying that you have to watch fluffy bunnies running around or anything like that, but it's a constant barrage. There's no what I class as uplifting programs out there anymore, episodes. You know, it's all too dark stuff and everything like that. Lady Enigma says, oh yeah, I didn't understand the true meaning of that movie until I had my spiritual awakening. Yeah, Truman Show. That's exactly what we're doing. It's engineered. Hopefully we all get rich so we don't have to work a 9 to 5. I give up my 9 to 5, Mafia. I'm done. I'm not going back to work. And yeah, completely what you said there. Fuck Bill Devil Gates, because that man is, well, he's probably in hell right now because he's allowed it to overtake him, depending on what you believe. Okay, bloke, how you doing? Bank of England temporary close. Rumour says old SWIFT system ends 1st September. New quantum financial system starts. Any thoughts? Okay. I had a really good chat with a friend of mine who works in a bank, who is so far up in that bank, which is a huge bank, that if the SWIFT system was coming to an end, they would have let him know. So what I'm saying to people is that's probably the plan, but not the time scale. So don't rely on it. Don't even think that it's a thing, because if it was actually happening, then he wouldn't be on holiday right now. They wouldn't have allowed him to go on holiday. The SWIFT system's working fine. There's a new upgrade coming out next month for SWIFT, or it's going to, because they've got Cybos, which is their annual convention. So they're going to be launching something new at Cybos. If they were going out of business, then they wouldn't be doing that. So no, I would say it's not taking over that particular bank. And for SWIFT to be switched off, then all banks would have to switch it off. So I would say, like I said earlier, I would say that it's probably going to happen, but not in the timescales. But we have to think about the fact that all of this is about saving the kids, right? So if it means that they think that there's a new bank system coming in and they've got to get the money out quick for all of these trillions of dollars that's knocking around from selling children for sex, then basically what will happen is they will try and move their money, and that's where they'll get caught. So I actually think it's a plan, but it's not actually going to come into effect just yet. XRP Bag says Earth frequency is rising. The mass awakening is inevitable. The elites are scrambling. Game over. Checkmate. Checkmate. It's the way that it's explained is that it's checkmate in 4 moves. There's no other moves that they can do, but they've got to play the moves in order to finish the game up until the 3rd of November. Matthew says, I'm in the group chat with you on Telegram, but I don't understand much in there. Which one are you in? I'm in a few. I'm only 17 I'm the only woke one in my family. Hold on to that, Mafia. Basically, you're going to be the one that's going to have to hold their hand when all of this starts to come out. Devon says, so am I really a svelte 13 stone instead of a 20 that I see? Does a tree actually make a sound if it falls over in the middle of a forest when there's nobody around? Yeah, be careful who you tell how much you own for security purposes. At the moment, it's not worth a lot, but it could be. Secure 2-step, absolutely. Vincent Wilson, 20k XRP. That's right, XRP bags. Vincent Wilson has upped the 20k to 100k. I don't think so. If it's going to get tied in with gold, you don't even need 1,000. Well, yeah, 1,000 would do it. Check Schumann resonance every day is amazing. Yes, Lady Enigma, and that's what we did. Oh, crypto mics. Yeah, no, I love Mike. Yes, the Schumann resonance is you can tell when we have the mass meditations because it goes off the chart. Crypto mics. I debated him on YouTube about it. Oh, what, Vincent Wilson? Did you really? That'll be interesting. Put a link up. I'll watch that, or send it to me on Twitter. David Coulston, how do you feel about the XRP flare merge? I don't think it's a merge. It's going to enable you to. It's almost use your XRP without moving it. From my understanding, and it's a 1-for-1. So for every 100 XRP that you've got, you're going to get 100 flare. And then there'll be like a smart contract between your XRP and the flare. And then you can go and spend the flare and it will debit your XRP in the nano and things like that. So you don't have to move your XRP around. So that's all I know about it. I haven't looked into it. I'm not sure just how it would work if XRP is going to be a world currency, because you would be spending the XRP. Dropping a tutorial on how to link your ledger for the flare drop. Oh, yes, please. I haven't seen anything come out about that. I know that they were talking about Bitrue will do it automatically. So do you meditate? I need to do sometimes, but I'm very impatient, and that's the reason why you can't. The meditation comes when your mind is still, and you need to almost shut off your brain. So concentrate on something so heavily and focus it so heavily that nothing else actually comes in. And that's a skill. That takes some practice. I personally listen to music and then concentrate on the music. I struggle with bad thoughts, and it's hard because I feel like they ain't mine. To be honest, we all have bad thoughts, Mafia. It's not unusual. And it's one of those things that you will learn. I had to. When I start to think bad thoughts, I literally redirect my brain. If I start to think negative or anything like that, I literally think of something positive immediately and switch my brain over. And if I'm going off to sleep, then I put myself into like a daydream, a positive daydream. And it's something like that you need to do. And then as time goes on, you're going to be able to do it automatically. And then it's only if you're feeling down that those then start to come back. Got to watch the song Vincent Wilson by DM Logic. Oh, I love DM Logic. I think he's bloody brilliant. A lot of evil shit affecting me. I smoked weed for 2 years and got off it, and it really fucked with me. Actually, to be honest, it's not that bad. If you smoke weed for 2 years, to be honest, all you've done is short-circuited your brain, and just time will just put that back. What I would suggest, if you can do it, is introduce coconut oil into your diet, because that actually feeds the brain and wakes it up. It starts to it's actually the closest thing to food that your brain can have. So if you've got it in your body, it sounds really weird, but it's it helps to bring focus back. So it won't be evil. It'll just be that you've clouded your brain by smoking at the age that you did. But you can wake that back up by actually doing the equivalent of brain food. So, and a lot of people have that after they've stopped smoking weed, because although weed isn't necessarily bad for you, it dumbs you down, it slows your thinking and takes away your concentration. And if you've done it for 2 years, you just got to retrain your brain back to the way it should be. And that's something that will happen automatically over time, but you can actually make it happen sooner by being aware of it. Try to set an intention and focus on that instead of focusing on the meditation itself. Yeah, absolutely. XRP Junior, hello. We are told to protect our minds, be careful what you watch and listen to. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things that when you're aware of the programming side of things, you don't have to, if you're aware of it, you don't have to protect yourself so much because you are aware of it. Does that make sense? You can't let evil in by watching a film. What you can do is you can, if you don't watch it with a sense of voyeurism, you can actually bring those thoughts that film has actually given you into real life. So, for example, the subliminal messages that you get from watching, I don't know, Disney, right? The subliminal messages you get from Disney. Trust me, but being aware of it means that you're not going to get the messages, because you're there, you know about it, so it doesn't get you. Yeah, I redirect mine sometimes. I just get caught into the bad ones. Yeah, and as time goes on, you'll get better at redirecting it. Honestly, mafia, just feed your brain. Honestly, feed your brain with what you read, what you watch, and also what you eat. It makes a massive difference. XRP Bag says most of the weed nowadays is GMO, no seeds. Yeah, but I need to stay away from bad energy like porn. It's very damaging for young people, and I've cut that out. It sounds weird talking about it, but it's so evil. It's not actually. Sex is the most natural thing in the world, right? It's just that you've got to treat it with reverence and not as a thing. And it's the most natural thing, honestly. It's not bad energy unless you're watching something that's not natural. But yeah, don't ever think that side of things is wrong, because it's not. Yeah, it is weird talking about it. And you can take CBD oil without actually smoking any weed. Any television show that promotes a sinful life and music are bad. No, as long as you know that you're watching something that isn't real. And the thing is, it's having that critical thinking to know that it's just entertainment. Feel that people don't speak out. It's even worse for people because they don't discuss the problems. But that's why I'm on here. That's why I come on, to you know, to that subconscious programming, XRP bags. Absolutely. It's but televisions can put you in an alpha state, which means they can program your subconscious mind. But what you do is you switch your television off. A lot of the subconscious programming is done in the adverts, would you believe? And watching the programs and films and things like that, as long as you're watching it and know it's entertainment and don't take anything from it except for you're just watching it, then there's nothing that can actually hurt you. Tony G. I'm too thick to be brainwashed. Lady Enigma says, not with perversion. Yeah, absolutely. Porn is just voyeuristic sex. I mean, it's not something to worry about on that side of it. But what are you going to change your name to? Mafia ZZ. Pick something nice. What's your nickname? That's like saying you could watch something for an hour and it's not going to affect you because you're aware. No, we're not talking about that side of things. That's done to elicit a response. And yeah, you are right. That has a lot of perverted stuff, but you stay away from that. And sorry, XRP Junior, I'm 51 years old, so just saying, you know, I I don't actually see porn as a bad thing at all. It's something that can help create moods or whatever. If men do it every day, they drain their energy. Yeah, well, don't do it every day. Tiny G says, I haven't watched TV since 2008, boo. Really? I switched off. When did I stop paying my TV license? Around about 2010? When I went into MLM, basically. Tracy Lee. Hey, Tracy. Yeah. I know you're laughing. Right, so I've been on for an hour and a half. And it's no different when you're older, by the way, Mafia. It's just that you see things a little bit more maturely, shall we say. Angie says, I like the name MathZ_crypto. Oh, yeah. MathZ. I could do that. Mafia's crypto. Don't stop now, boo. I'm out of my comfort zone here, Tony. Give me something else to talk about. We're back to 17 people watching. Look at that. See, 17 happens all the time. Give me something. Give me a subject. Go on then. Let's chat. What do you want to talk about? Ask me a question. Keep it respectful. There's a post from Vincent Wilson on YouTube. Okay. I will grab that at some point. Oh, Google moderator team. Bless. Message deleted. I wonder why they did that, Crypto Justin, because I didn't delete that at all. Google moderator team. We got the moderators in the house. Have you heard of Austin Steinberg? Yes, I have. He claims to be Q in the future. And he's trying to get people to stand up. I'll hide that one just in case they're watching, Mafia. They don't like you posting links. Very weird. Yeah, he says he's Q from the future. He's very, very. Do you remember Headroom? What's his name? The computer guy, Max Headroom, right? He reminds me of him. He's very articulate, and he's very very even and personable. He works for. He actually works for undercover CIA. So he says. He doesn't look old enough, to be perfectly honest, but yeah, no, you've got to be my age to remember Max Headroom. It's probably because a certain word has been bandied about beginning with B. Oh, yeah, it could be. Only mods can post links. I had to change it, but Google is smart by the looks of it. Okay, Crypto Justin. You can post it up again. You've just earned yourself a moderator tab. Yeah, so Austin, I think that his heart's in the right place. I think that, you know, he's a programmer, so he says, and he's good at using misinformation. I think that if he's as CIA as he says he is, then I would imagine he's very good at manipulating people. Is he real? Don't know. I would imagine not, is my first. He reckons aliens are just us in the future, which makes sense. Yeah, it does. Do it later. Not sure about the video though. No, it's cool. Now you can post. I don't think that we're the only people here. I mean, it'd be very arrogant to assume that there are no other life in the universe. No matter what you believe about sort of religions and gods and things like that, I think that we have to acknowledge the fact that there are millions, billions of planets out there, and it's just not logical to think that we are the only planet that's got life. So do I think that we've got portals? Yep. Do I think that there are other dimensional beings? Yep. I don't think there's anything wrong in that. I think that we're playing chess on a fifth dimension with the elites at the moment and the cabal. It makes sense that we can't meet one as they are us in the future, and that would fuck up the timeline. You've seen quantum computing? Yeah, no, I have, and we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Project Looking Glass is a good one to look at. That is how I think this is being waged right now. Project Looking Glass. To quote one of my favourite films, Contact, it would be a waste of space. Yes, it would. They reckon NASA are using it. There's two, the good guys and the bad guys. The Project Looking Glass, I think, is Tesla technology. Don't quote me on that one. And I think that whoever's got control. No, actually, take that back. I think there's one of them. I think the bad guys actually had hold of it there for a while, and they've been using that for years. And I think now it's now changed, and it's now under the white hats control, which is why I think that's why Donald Trump is still alive, because they keep on trying to kill him. And the assassination attempts on him has been stupid. They reckon NASA are using it. NASA don't have it. No, NASA are corrupt. Margaret says, what timescale do you think XRP will start moving? Can't really put timescales on it, honey. I mean, I've been holding for a couple of years now. It's not something that I would be comfortable. It's not something that I would be comfortable sharing on that side of it, because we all have hopium. I mean, I'd like it to be tomorrow, to be perfectly honest. But it will be when it will be. I mean, we all know where it's going. We all know the story behind it. We know how much infrastructure is actually going in for it and what its possibilities are. We just we just don't know when that's going to come to fruition. I mean, adoption is a very slow procedure, even with the stuff that's going on at the moment. And yes, they are preparing us to have a cashless society, but we're still going to have cash for 10, 20 years at least. Project Bluebeam is amazing, actually. I saw the dragon hologram, absolutely fantastic. And then we've got, you know, all the different sightings of like, they had what was it? They had a spaceship coming out of a portal. Phenomenal. I mean, what they can do with a hologram is fantastic, which is why one of the things that's on our like little checklist of things for this year will be an alien invasion. And I don't actually see that being a real alien invasion, to be honest. They say if Trump gets killed, it's going to be a clone. Yep. If they don't get the right one, I think there's a couple of clones there, I reckon. NASA are fake. Do you think I should buy even more? Do you 100% believe it will go up? I can't give you financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But you need to make peace with what you've got, or sit and do some more research. I am comfortable with the fact that I'm invested in it. I think that it's got legs, but I also know that in a bull run, rising tides raise all boats. So even if it doesn't go up or get taken on and they choose another coin, that there is an investment value there for XRP. So, but that's just my personal opinion. They reckon they're faking an alien invasion. I think they're running out of steam, to be honest. I mean, the Democrats literally they shot their load far too fast, and they don't actually have they don't have a lot of options left to them. I mean, they could release another virus, but with the lockdown the way it is, would it be worth doing? Because they wouldn't actually reach that many people. People are already social distancing automatically. There are the sheeples out there wearing the masks. Half the countries are in lockdown already. So what would it achieve? I don't think that they've got many. You know, there's the one good thing. By locking down, they've basically taken away the opportunity for them to release something that's actually worse than what we've got. Jesus coming back. Yes, I do believe. I don't believe in the Bible as such. I think that it's been tainted by man, but I do believe in the precepts and the revelations. Okay, bloke. They say if you put your NI to GMEI utility, show the transactions of your birth certificate. I've tried it. It doesn't work for me. Mafia says wearing a mask causes a virus when you breathe your carbon dioxide and can cause problems. There are people that are actually going into hospital with pneumonia for wearing a mask. I mean, it's ridiculous. But there's the fear factor. Keeps your vibration low. All the time that you are in fear, then your vibration is very low. Pelosi did mention another stronger virus in the near future. Well, Fauci came and said that this administration was going to suffer a pandemic back in 2017, 16. So, yeah, I mean, come on. They tell us before they do it. And yes, Tracy Branson. Apparently, Epstein Island was for the lower celebrities, and then the upper celebrities like the Queen goes to Branson Island. Listen to the Book of Revelations or read it. It's the only book that ever resounded with me when I read the Bible. Devin Steve says, heard today that some of the Democrats are trying to distance themselves a bit, especially since last weekend when that bloke got kicked in the head. Funny that, huh? So they're little rabid bloody soldiers that they unleashed on society that are going around doing things like looting and almost, well, they're killing people as well, but they're going through residential areas and keeping people awake at night, banging on doors. They go there with the pots, banging pots, saying if we're not sleeping, you can't sleep, and all that side of it. I think someone needs to shoot a gun in the air and scare them out the areas, or do what some of the smaller cities and towns have done and literally walk them out the area when they turn up. It's it's getting beyond a joke, but normal people are going to stand up now. They've had enough. Mafia lives in England, same as me, and there is loads of people outside Buckingham Palace shouting pedos. They're not there. She's in Scotland, I think. Buckingham Palace she will never live there ever again. Are you in London then, Mafia? Yeah, Tracy, that was illuminating. Absolutely illuminating. Branson, he's got 2 islands. He's got 2 islands that people go to, and I'm in Suffolk next Sunday, seeing a friend of mine. But the whole point is that they're now finding, and that thing I saw earlier on today, they're now finding that there are certain islands, and what they've got submarine ports. So it doesn't actually take a lot of brain power to work out that Ghislaine Maxwell has a submarine license for a start, and basically she'd have a license for a reason. They also have submarine ports at the ports, and apparently, and this is where Tony Blair comes into it as well, unfortunately, they've got this company that they set up to move art to all of the diplomatic embassies. So they move art around the world, and they've got this company that's been set up. It's got Epstein, Blair, Pedosi's, I think she mentioned, Clinton's, and all that side of it. And basically, she joined the dots, and it works out that all of the stuff that actually goes through their company to move the art around the world goes around customs, never gets checked. And the reason it never gets checked is it's classed as, they call it live art. Talk about put it in your face. Live art cannot be checked by customs, goes around them. So basically what they could be doing is moving these kids around as live art, because that woman, spirit cooking woman, Abramovich, no, something like that anyway, she's part of it as well. So you've got Podesta, who's got the most sick art collection in the world, and all of the Clintons and everything like that, and they managed to move art around the world, live art around the world, to embassies, and they don't go through customs. And then you've got underneath the ports, they've got submarine port, and you can move the stuff straight from wherever it's coming from onto the submarine and move the children and the people around. I mean, that's basically what's happening. The Evergreen, it's Evergreen is the name of a company that provides the what they're called, containers that goes on the ships, and they reckon that is actually part of the trafficking side of things. And then what Clinton Foundation did was they went in with Branson to a load of the little islands in the Bahamas and that sort of area, and then what they did was they put wind farms and solar farms in these islands. And to be honest, you know, hurricane seasons and everything like that's going to destroy the fucking lot. And then what they've done is they've negotiated for that to go on there for them if they can set up and they use a company that's used by Clintons to set up the comms between the islands. So they've laid cables. So basically what they've got is in the child trafficking routes, they've managed to set up the islands. They've got submarine ports in the islands. They've got the wind farms and everything that's brought them the telecommunications into the islands. And now all of those islands, anything that goes on goes through their telecommunications people. So they know what's going to happen before it happens. Now, if somebody can do the digging on that and come up with that as a layperson, don't you think that successive governments would have actually worked that one out? Just saying. I just hope that we actually get to see some of these sickos. I want to see them go down. I want to hear what they get charged with. I want to watch it, and I want to see them go down. Literally, evergreen moves children. Yeah. What's your thoughts on adrenochrome? Haven't really looked into it too deep. Adrenochrome, really simple. They brutalize children to make them so scared that the amount of adrenaline that they've got in their blood is the highest it could possibly be. And then they drink the blood. So they basically scare the kids and then kill them. And it's ridiculous. And the high that they get from the adrenochrome is apparently better than any high that you could get anywhere. And because it's young blood, it rejuvenates them for the time that I take it from the state of some of these people since we went into lockdown, that it's only a temporary measure. And Ricky Gervais was fucking amazing on the Golden Globes, right? That man, he had God's hand on his shoulder when he was doing that. Devon Steve, yeah, sorry, honey. There's so much. I've done so much research into stuff. Margaret says, I cannot wait for the day the Elite Four and our children will grow up in a better world. Tony G says, I didn't know that, but it's sickening. It's did you know that 22,000 children go missing every single day around the world? That's 2,000 an hour. Just under 2,000 an hour. You've got the oh Christ. You've got the woman that went into the Clintons went into the earthquake area. I'm not going to remember the name of the country now. But the Clintons went in, saved and to do all this humanitarian stuff. After this earthquake, which was shocking. And then one of the women that was working for Clinton got caught putting 33 children on the plane to bring them back. But these kids had parents. Haiti, that's it. Thank you, Anne. These kids had parents, right? So this woman got caught twice trying to kidnap children to bring them out of the country twice, and Bill Clinton got her off twice from being charged. And guess who's in charge of the Amber Alerts in America? Same woman. You couldn't make this up if you fucking tried. So a woman that kidnaps children is in charge of the Amber Alerts, which is there to safeguard kidnapped children. Anyone else? I mean, it's so fucked up. It's absolutely fucked up. And I don't understand why people aren't questioning more. If you've got people that can go and do deep dives on this thing, and this is what I watch all day, every day. I watch all the different deep dives from all these different people, which is why I really like Charlie Ward, because he brings these people into his interview and you get snippets. You get snippets and then you go off to those people and you watch it. That new bombing that happened was all to do with them blowing up evidence. Yeah, absolutely. And they found that one in Beirut, I think they found more children than they did adults. But you've got to understand that they had nuclear bomb facility from what I understand, and they needed to take that out because it was an immediate threat. So whatever they were planning to do, they got them. Bill Clinton's portrait wearing that blue dress found in Epstein's apartment. No, that was amazing. He's never going to live that down. They've nobbled him. They've actually got him, one of the girls that's giving testimonial against Ghislaine Maxwell, has named Bill Clinton as one of the men that raped her in Epstein's Island, along with 2 other girls. Game over. Game over. And panderize. And do you know what? I didn't realize. I mean, you see all these things about pandas, that, you know, you've got these Hollywood stars that actually do things like dress up as panda or puts panda eyes on, and they're literally rubbing our faces in it, and only the people that know pick up on it. And they literally rub, there's nothing you can do, they rub your face in it. And it's panderize is what happens to a child when you sodomize and rape a baby or a young child, because they get black around the eyes, and if it's really bad, both eyes go black, and it's shocking, absolutely shocking. And you know what? I was cheering because I saw a friend of mine tagged me on a YouTube video that was from Turkey, and they were having a conversation about Pizzagate, and they showed that picture of the panda eyes with the child, and all these different people that were implicated for Pizzagate. You know, it does make you wonder. It really makes you wonder how people can do these things and how they get away with it. You know, there has to be somebody somewhere. I mean, when they turned around and said, "Oh, you know, Pizzagate's it's a conspiracy theory." Yeah, right. So the guy that walked in there with a gun just so happened that when he went in and shot it, he shot into the office and actually shot the computer. So the computer's fucked, so can't be used. Yeah, again, and yet he gets marked as a far right person, that you know, this white supremacist went in and started shooting up the pizza place because of this disgusting rumor that's been put around by conspiracy theorists. Really, people see through that. Margaret says, yeah, when you look at Queen and Co, they don't look human, and Q does mean question. Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet. Huge amounts of money involved, boy, boo, what a sick world. But they don't need the money. This is what I don't understand. The people that are doing this don't need the money. They've got shitloads of money already. It's got nothing to do with the money. You got, oh Christ, who was it said they drink baby's blood? Martin. Oh, I can't remember his name now. But anyway, he literally came out and said they drink baby's blood in Hollywood. And everyone went, oh, don't be stupid. You know, and then you look at all these different people that are no longer in the public eye. What happened to Ellen? What happened to Oprah? You know, anyone seen Tom Hanks and his wife recently? Just saying. I watched loads of stuff for years. Everything you spoke about tonight is nothing I've not heard before. Margaret, it's gut-wrenching. It's ridiculous. YouTube seems very controlled. It is. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if this actually goes on after we close down. I'd be very surprised if this actually stays up. What are your thoughts on David Icke? Very smart, and everyone called him crazy for years. I love David Icke. I absolutely love him. He has been shouting about all of this for 30 years. 30 years. Woke people sound crazy to dumb fuckers. Yeah, woke people. Unfortunately, woke people now are the old conspiracy theories, and the unwoke people are the sheeples. It's the tide is turning. The people that were the crazy conspiracy theorists are now the people that are talking about what they've been talking about for years, but now the proof is coming out to prove it. So there's an awful lot of apologies that is going to be needed from an awful lot of people, because they are going to realise just how rabid they went after people and how wrong they actually are. All those children's toys. Yeah, what's that all about? Putting a secret button in their fanny place. Do you think these perverts have been arrested and executed? I think that there's an awful lot of them that's been arrested, but they had to do it from the bottom up. And basically what they had to take away the top family, because that was their go-to to protect. They had to take them all out. So they went in, it's the Venetians in Italy. So they took away the Venetians. And then what they needed to do was take away all of the barristers, the lawyers, solicitors, got a lot of CEOs to step down from their businesses as well, don't forget. So they had to take them out. So an awful lot of doctors, solicitors, barristers, teachers arrested to do with the paedophile side of things. There's an awful lot that have been going on for years. The amount of Walt Disney employees that have been arrested is huge. You know, you talk about adrenochrome. Monsters Inc. is all about adrenochrome. Do you know that? Where they come in and scare the children, right? And it tops up the levels. Think about it. Trump is trying behind the scenes. Good will win. God just means good. No, God is God. Choose God, aka good, and seek knowledge is power. Casual crypto guy, evening or what have I missed? Well, you've lost 2 hours worth. You've missed 2 hours worth. I'm not going back over it. I've covered loads of things. Please explain number 17. 17 is Q. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. 17. This is the year I woke up. Do you know what? For a 17-year-old, you're not doing too bad. And the thing is, just be there for your friends, because when they start to wake up, they're going to be red-pilled ever so quickly. And there's going to be an awful lot of people that are going to lose their minds. David Icke says they're a different breed. Yeah. Do you know what? I know this sounds really weird, but I actually think that lizards are probably one of the oldest civilizations that we've had. I don't think they're extraterrestrials. I just think that they have been here since before man. Reptiles. Okay, bloke says, worked with abused children. The damage to them is lifelong. Awful. Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, it's heartbreaking. But they're, you know, with love, you can overcome anything with love. If you can love somebody, you know, that have been through an abuse situation, you can literally change their outlook on life. Especially children. Children can bounce, but they need so much love and support and security, and they need to feel safe. I mean, I always wanted to foster children, um, and to be able to do, but you know, I was approved as a foster carer some years ago, but not with the boyfriend that I had at the time. So, you know, by the time he was kicked to the curb, I had to move around for work, so I didn't go back and do it. But it's something that I really wanted to do, and yeah, I'm not against setting up an orphanage or a children's home, but a proper one where they are safe and secure, and they have lots of people that are going to love them around them. You know, I had a reading once that basically said that's what I'm going to do. That basically she drew me a picture of what it's going to look like, and I turn up on a regular basis. And as I turn up, all the kids come running out, boo 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 boo. You know, because I never had kids. I've got kids by my sister. My sister had 3 wonderful children, and my brother had 1. And I'm like a surrogate mum to all of them, but I never had children of my own. So, you know, I still have that really strong maternal instinct. So for me, when I'm saying about save the children, I'm talking about everyone's children, not mine. It's and it's humbling. It's actually humbling, and it's it's something that I knew, but I didn't know, because I used to spend a lot of time with the Bernardo's boys, and you hear of some stories about, you know, Bernardo's and things like that, and I didn't want to believe that anyone could harm kids that were in care. That breaks my heart completely. Brother got abused, very sad. Feel like it still fucks with him. Just love him, Mafia. That's all you have to do. Is this all to do with the envelopes handed out at George Bush senior funeral? Do you know what I heard? And I don't know whether it is, but I heard that at George Bush Senior's funeral, there was a note from George Bush Jr., which basically said, "They know everything, I'm sorry," with his name on it. And then, because when they were all opening up their little white envelopes, he stoically just looked straight ahead. He didn't react to anything, right? And I honestly believe that they walked out of there and he walked straight into prison. He went to Gitmo because he was flanked when he went in there. Trump was reserved, really reserved, and everyone else lost their minds. It was really funny because Callahan was looking in his Bible for a message, and he didn't have one in there. But the rest of them, they all lost their minds. They completely lost their minds because checkmate, absolute checkmate. That was, now, even if it wasn't that, it's still funny to think it was. I mean, we will find out eventually what was in it, but that's what I heard. That's what I heard. Not saying God just means good, but for people who don't believe in a higher power, yeah, absolutely. The trouble is this red pill that's coming. When we find out the amount of Satanism and ritualistic stuff that they've been doing to us for years to raise their energy and reduce ours, you have no choice but to realize that if there's a Satan and Lucifer's a thing, there has to be a God. Now, I come from a different way of looking at it because I've died, so I know that there is something else, right? Didn't meet God or anything like that, don't get me, but I know there's something else, and I know there's more. So I'm almost from the other end of it, whereas I know there's something else. I'm not sure exactly what it is because I didn't get that far into it, but I know there was something. And I remember there was something. But to be honest, what that does is give me peace of mind. I'm not scared of dying. I'm not scared of, passing on. I'm not sure what happens. They say don't go into the light. That's the way that you get peeled back in to come back into life. If you don't go into the light, then you go on to God. Which, think about it, poltergeist, go into the light. Carol Ann, tell them to go into the light. And then what they did to that little girl, I mean, that was sick as well. Just, anyway. Matthew says, yes, I've been trying to help others. Yeah, you'll come into your own when this all starts to come out. Margaret says it's very hard waking up. You need thick skin. You get piss taken out of you and you've just got to laugh. Do you know what? I had one more than that. I actually had somebody contact me and say that they wanted to do an intervention because they thought I was being brainwashed for my beliefs. And I share the Q stuff all the time. And that nearly destroyed me, that did. Margaret says, when you do the research, it can be very soul destroying thinking that this goes on in the world. I pray for the day the deep state and co collapse. Do you know what? The fact he's knowing about it, I know it's hard and it's horrible, but knowing about it means that they can't hide anymore. And the more people that get red pilled, the more people that know about it, the less they are able to do what they do because they can't get away from it. We follow them around on Twitter, right? You're sick, you're sick, you're sick. When these people are losing their platforms because they get so much abuse when they go onto it. People are not watching the films because I can't watch television. I can't watch the films. I'm looking at them going, are you part of it? Or are you part of it? I've seen you on the log for Epstein's shit. And you sit there and you think, really? Brad Pitt? Really? That broke my heart, that did. And you just look at these people and you think, do you know what? I'd rather not watch any of it. I don't watch any of it anymore. I don't even watch Netflix. It's because you can't trust what you're looking at. You don't know. I mean, I'm just looking at everything going, are you part of it? Did you know? There's a guy called David Rodriguez, who's a heavyweight boxer. And it was him that actually made me start to live stream again. And basically what he said was, you bastards, why are you not standing up and being verbal? Why are you not coming out against this? Why are you leaving it to me to speak to you, to try and get you to stand up and be counted? He doesn't even know who I am, but I sent him a message and I said, thank you. It's just what I needed. Your call to arms. I've done it. I'm now trying to wake other people up and giving people a platform to come to where we can have these conversations. Trump didn't get an envelope. Of course he didn't. Trump actually turned around to Bush. He had Bush banged to rights, don't forget, because of 9/11. Think about it. So Trump got Bush to put the envelopes out because he knew he was going down, but he allowed him to go to his father's funeral. Justin, if you did not get a white envelope, you did not want one. No, you didn't want it. Farshad Rouhani, how are you? Good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Casual crypto guy, well, he ain't doing a lot. Who's not doing a lot? Explain more. Smash that like button, please. I've got 18 thumbs up and 18 people in the room, so I'm happy. I heard some guy talking about dying, and that's why he started believing in aliens. I've had past life regression, and I wasn't human in one of them. So, how are you? Glad to be here. I am absolutely fine. I'm still retired. I'm still happy. Oh, I've got 19. Thanks. I've got 17 people in. 17 again. I'm really happy, Farshad. It's been a really tough discussion that we've had tonight. I've been talking about loads of things that are going on in the world. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know, it's important to talk about these things. And I think that, you know but it's good to talk, and it's good to have a platform where people, I think, can come and chat these things out and ask questions and just chat between ourselves. Justin says, see, I don't know now whether it's good to go into the light or not. No, me neither. But put it this way, in previous lives, I would have gone into the light. So why not try the next time and not do it? There is so much evil in the world, Farshad. And you rewind half an hour and you'll find out exactly what I've been talking about. Mafia says, first time I've ever even been in here, but I appreciate you and what you're doing. Kind of makes me upset speaking about certain things, but I know it's for a better purpose. My bike. So I want my bike back. I know it's for a better purpose instead of keeping it all inside. Absolutely. Farshad says, I'm going to cancel my Netflix. Great, from Keller, Texas. The big man upstairs. Yeah, big man upstairs. He has a plan. He has a plan, and we got to trust the plan. Q says that we have to trust the plan. But he put his hand on Trump a long time ago. And I honestly believe that. There's I saw it again. It was like a mini documentary, and it was Doctor. And thank you, Boo. You will be a great mum. There are many children waiting. I hope so. I hope so. I've got a lot to give. Money can be put to better investments. Absolutely. Come on for a YouTuber. But yeah, I saw a documentary, and it was a doctor, and basically he'd been chatting to a friend of his, and I think it was him that was going off to Rome, and he said there's a guy in Rome that's the most holy person because he prays all the time, right? So basically what this guy does is he goes to like a communion at the Vatican 3, 5, 7 times a day, whatever it is. Me too, Farshad. And basically what he said was you need to go and say hi to him. So he went. It was an American guy. He was over in Rome. He was really old, wizened, bent over, crippled. But they reckon that he'd been and done communion like, I don't know, 15,000 times or whatever it was. So the friend went up and spent some time with him and talked to him and everything like that. And the guy turned around and said to him, he said, I had a vision. Now, this was 20 years ago. He said, I had a vision, and God has put his hand on someone's shoulder, and it's going to change the world, or something like that. And the guy turned around and said, really? Who? And he said, Donald Trump. And the guy started laughing and went, what, the billionaire playboy? And the old guy looked at him and went, he's had the hand of God put on him. He's going to be the saviour of the human race. Or words to that effect, I'm paraphrasing. And I heard that. Now that was some years ago, like 20 years ago, that guy said it. And it was a few years ago that the doctor was talking about it. Live on a YouTube with his mate. But he was talking about something that had happened like 20 years previously. And I just sat there and thought, if there was anything anyone ever needed as a sign, then that's it. That is it. I mean, basically, you don't need to know any more than that. The fact that he said that was something that has come to us. I needed to hear that. And yeah, looks like Margaret, you needed to as well. But it just sealed the deal for me. I mean, there is a serenity that I get when I watch Trump do his talks, because I mean, I'm looking for. I mean, he's a very religious person anyway, and no, I don't own Bitcoin, but he he literally, he's being led by the divine. That's the only way I can do it. When you look at the people around him, and basically you look at the close people he's got around him. You look at Bill Barr. He's got some warriors on his side. He's working with Putin, with Xi. You know, you've got Russia, China, North Korea, America, and India. Is it North Korea? Maybe not, but India. And basically what they're doing is they are working together to get rid of the cabal. So they are the countries that have been able to be cleared first. Because when Trump is saying about draining the swamp, he's not talking about just America. He had to clear the world to be able to do that. And yes, Farshad, there's an awful lot of people that are uninformed. But the reason they're not informed is because they trust that the government has their best interests at heart, and that they have a say in their own lives, and that they are able to control what happens to them. And I think what's happening now is people are starting to realise that, wow, there might be mandatory vaccines. That takes away control of your life. That's taking control of your body. That's not supposed to happen. You're supposed to have control on your own body. They do trust the mainstream media, but that's because we've been good little sheeples up till now. But there's too many people. This movement, forget Q, this movement to switch off the television started, I mean, for me, 10 years ago. And it's one of those things that more people were cottoning on, and a lot more people are cottoning on now. The shutdown had exactly what it was supposed to do. It put people at home twiddling their thumbs with a few questions about how they managed to get there and why they were locked in the way that they were. Every president they've painted good has turned out to be bad, and it's come about with Trump. They've turned him bad, so hopefully he will be good. He is good. Do you know what? I fervently believe that he is a good guy, and that's just my honest opinion. There's too much. Anyone that says I'm going to go after them, that go after the kids, and then he does it, forget the rest of it. The hundreds and thousands of children that he's saving right now. He put a wall up, right, and stopped the kids coming in over the border. So now how do you traffic the children into from Mexico? Got to come via the normal routes. What have you got there? Trained officers looking for people who are trafficking children. 100% good. Absolutely. Everyone learned how to bake cakes. Yes, they did, Steve. Yes, they did. And you know what? It's one of those things. Oh, XRP Bags has sent me the Celestine Light link that he said he was going to do. Yeah, baking cakes. Yeah, I've put on so much weight since lockdown. It's ridiculous. But no, he's good. He's a good guy. He's doing what he says on the tin. Anyone that does what they says on the tin is okay by me. And there's too much going on for it not to be part of the plan. Think about it. All of the world leaders deferring to him. All of them. The fact that he's given people money when the country was near on bankrupt anyway, to see them through the lockdown. You think Clinton was going to do that? She'd have left them all to die. You've got a situation where he's brought back manufacturing. He's renegotiated deals, trade deals, where, America first. He's showing every country what they need to be doing for themselves. Don't you hiss at me. Oh, she's showing her feathers. But yeah, I mean, just amazing. We all need leaders that are going to do that. And to be honest, it's taken a businessman. It literally has taken a businessman to take hold of the situation. And it needed someone who was so fucking rich that they couldn't nobble him. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, no drugs. Played about a bit when he was a billionaire playboy, but that comes with the territory. He's got a loving wife, a fantastic family, right? And he's a good Christian. So he's brought prayer back to the White House for a start. How amazing is that? That openly there is a president that is not afraid to use the word God. It's been slammed out of us for so long. Do agree, 100%. We think the same. Do love your show. This is not a show. It's a chat and giggles. Chat, shit and giggles. That's what I call it. It's 2 hours, 21 minutes. You got to be kidding me. I was going to finish this at 1 hour 15. But yeah, I think that's long enough, isn't it? I think we've covered everything that we need to cover. Time flies when you're having fun. I can talk. The thing is, because I'm talking with you, when I get this thing sorted out where I can have the Zoom chat and I can bring people in, you know, we could have, I don't know, maybe 4 at a time. And then as people move on, and then I'd bring other ones in, you know, maybe on a one-to-one to start with until I can get used to it, and then bring more people in. You know, we can have like 4 people sitting and chatting and having a conversation properly, you know, verbally, rather than me reading out what you're saying and then verbalizing my thoughts, because it's really difficult to put your thoughts on a 200 digit. You do have a gift. You make people listen. It's called gift of the gab. That's the Irish side of me. My grandmother would be so proud. Bless her. That's probably something that I've inherited from my Irish grandmother. Night, Angie. Right, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. It's fairly late. Oh no, it's 10 o'clock. So I've still got an hour or 2 before I go to sleep. And yeah, I'll be back again tomorrow night, 7:30. So I will say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you are in the world. And take care, be positive, and literally just trust in the plan, because who wins? God wins. Night.